a huge warm welcome to you all, wherever you are. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to learn a lot about someone who's taken control of her life and created a hugely successful business in the process. She's built it, well, I'm saying from scratch. A lot of work went into it to prepare for that. But I expect we're also going to have a lot of fun because our guest is a notoriously straight talker, which is appropriate for Let's Talk, isn't it? I'm your host, Clare English. This is Let's Talk, an initiative supported by Royal Bank of Scotland and powered by Accelerator, Scotland's leading business and entrepreneurial organisation. On a personal level, I'm a broadcaster, podcaster, and I've been through one of Accelerator's Accelerator programmes myself. So too has the person that we are waiting to hear from in the wings. She applied herself and it appears to have paid off in abundance. So that gives you a clue to what these Let's Talk sessions are all about. They're designed to help women in particular identify the challenges they might face in starting or growing a business. And they also get the opportunity to consider the actions they can take to overcome the challenges. And there are a lot of them that they'll meet along the way. It's all about bringing women together. Right now, we're fortunate that the tech allows us to link up across the country, across the planet. And Let's Talk will hopefully be back face to face in the not too distant future. But for now, we're going to use the tech. Now, many of you know the face and the voice behind Feel, Look, Be, a seven-figure business with a vast online following. How does that happen when you only really launched a couple of years ago? How does it happen when life has not been easy and you've had to drill deep to get to where you want to be? How do we even know where we want to be in life? I'm still asking myself that question, but all good questions we'll try to get some answers to now. Joining us live from Montefiore, we're hooking up with the ridiculously impressive and impactful Miss Shelly Booth. You may clap and whoop digitally.
Hey, what an introduction.
It is so lovely to have you with us. And the irony is, you should have been in America. You should have been in LA. Tell us why you should have been there.
Firstly, thank you so much for the extraordinary introduction. I loved it. Yes, I should be in LA. Actually, I have an American business mentor who I have yet to meet. I should have been in LA 4 times this year, and I actually tried to get into LA at the airport, Edinburgh Airport, and got refused only just a few months ago. So I've knocked it on the head until next year. So sorry about that.
No, probably wise. Hey, getting lots of comments in the box already. Before we go on, we want you to join in, ask questions. You can post those on any platform you're watching on. I'm keeping an eye on that. Lots of claps, lots of hearts. So exciting to hear from Shelley. A worthy introduction, Paula Jones. Oh my goodness, it goes on and on. There's tons of stuff going on already. We've got about, well, less than 45 minutes. I want to talk to you about so many things, Shelley. Self-improvement, reflection. You seem to always be constantly looking to improve yourself. You're talking about having a business mentor. The work still goes on, doesn't it, even when you've made it?
Oh, God. Well, Claire, just an answer to that question. I've not even got started yet. Do you know that? This last 2 years, people see more of it now than they've ever done. But I've never stopped working for 20 odd years. I've worked at this level, at this rate, for 20 odd years of this career of mine. And it spans now 24 years. I just counted it up this morning, actually. So people see it like in the last 2 years. Actually, it's been a lifetime of research, of education, of going and search out actually who I am. So that self-reflection thing that you're talking about, it's daily work. It takes daily work to change your body. It takes daily work to change your mind and get your mind to a level where actually standards, and my standards are really, really high for me, my clients, and my business.
Absolutely, that comes across with what you're doing. You've achieved big goals. You've made serious money, but you've also had to sort of think on your feet as well, Shelley, you know, pivot when circumstances changed globally. You took your business online. We're going to talk about this, but how willing are you to be candid with us all here and share your learning with us to help others get to where you are? Because as you say, it's not all plain sailing. There's a lot of hard work goes into this.
I'll be as candid and as open as I can be. In fact, one of the things that people like about me is I'm vulnerable, I'm open, and I'm completely authentic. So if I can answer your question, then I'm all for it.
Wonderful news. Right, we're going to define exactly what your business is. It's the wellness business, but I want you to explain what it is to us, please.
My business, Claire, is it's a female empowerment business. That's exactly what it is. We used to think, oh, it's Shelley Booth Fitness. Actually, we've got to a point now when mindset is absolutely everything now. People use mindset, the word mindset, a lot every single day without actually doing the daily mindset work. What is the daily mindset work? And people don't know I've been manifesting and visualizing and setting intentions for my own self on a daily basis. Never mind my clients. They just think, oh, it's just a fitness business. But I identified long ago, like years ago, Claire, that there's a huge gap in the market. And I was a gym owner and I worked in gyms and I've been immersed in education for, well, all of these years. And actually, nobody was really educating these women. Nobody was telling these women what they had to know. And so it becomes a fitness class. People run in and run out. And you can get amazing fitness classes in any gym that you go to. And what next? So that's the niche that I thought, I can change that because I'm a knowledge. And I've travelled the world gleaning knowledge and learning constantly, Claire, for 20 odd years to get to the point that I have my own concept. And I bring it to my clients my way. I don't follow anybody. I don't emulate anybody. I'm in my lane. And I don't care what everybody else is doing. I stay here and I pioneer a new way.
It's really interesting because already in the chat, Lucy's saying Shelley's the best attribute is her honesty, her openness. Nicola, absolutely heart. And her work ethic, says there, Sturgis. There's tons of love coming at you here, which is wonderful. You're being love bombed. But I said in the introduction that you and I have both been on a program, the Elevator Accelerator program. Tell us how that helped to get you going and maybe get you past that last hurdle.
Elevator was fantastic because you're sharing space with founders of businesses, new start businesses, and people that are maybe at the same stage of thinking, right, how do I advance my business? So you get that community, if you like, in that chat of how do we take things and move things forward as a team, as a collective, not just on an individual basis. But what Elevator done for me was challenge my thinking, Claire. So talking about business model canvases and stuff, and I've said this before, but I hadn't talked about it in that way before. And to be honest, I didn't really get it either. But it really let me hone in on my ideal client, my ideal customer. I now know what they wear, what they eat, certainly, because they eat my meal plans and they use my recipe book, what they drink, what magazines they read, what books they read before and after me. That's key, by the way, before and after me. Are they married? I'll know that. How many kids do they have generally? So I know my customer avatars, if you like. Like, I'm obsessed with them, and their pains have become my passion, and their goals become mine. And so that's why the whole thing works, because I'm so driven to help these women with these pains and these issues and these barriers and help overcome them.
Jelena is saying, oh, it's flipping up here. It's more than fitness. We're learning every day to live. And Shelly Booth is so passionate about educating us. That is it. It's an education. But I'm really interested in why you think women in particular benefit from your approach. And, also, are women kind of embarrassed to say they're entrepreneurs and put themselves out there?
I think it's a couple of things for me, Claire, here. So the first thing is I seen my mum's own struggles when there was limited choices, limited opportunity, and probably limited mindset in terms of where you could take things. My mum was a working class mum, trying to keep a relationship going, trying to keep a child, and money wasn't freely available to my family, and so that was a real challenge. And other challenges as well. So that was the first thing. I seen the struggles in my own mum. But I grew up with this abundance thinking. I thought, this can't be the life for me when I grow up. I can't do this. And I knew that as a child. I don't know why I knew it. I just knew it was in me. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I'm going to ask me that question again, Claire. It was in my mind there.
No, I tell you what, we've got so much to get through. I'm just seeing all these remarks coming up, but I tell you what we will do. You were just talking about your mum there, but let's talk about what you remember.
So women, generally speaking, are the people who generally, not all the time, but they keep the house running. They've got the kids and they put themselves on the back burner a lot. I've trained thousands of men as well. So I've made my own observations, and I know that this is the case most of the time. And so they're bottom of the pile a lot. And to be the best mum or wife or partner or sister, then you have to be the best for you first. So prioritise your own health and your own wellness and your own mindset and safeguard that. So again, I identified with that years ago, and I thought, I could change that and I could show women a different way.
There seems to be a real community. I'm just looking at the comments again. I don't want to say too many of them at the moment, but there is this amazing sense of community. Marie says, this is something you're obviously tapping into. But let's go back to young Shelley and look at the opportunities and the kind of upbringing you had. At school, were you academic? Were you very motivated? What did you think you were going to do with your life?
Oh, at school, so competitive. Competitive sport was my life. I just loved sport, every single sport. And even to this day, to my Leo, he's 10, my son, even to his dismay, I could still do keepy ups and drive close to 180 yards at the driving range. And I don't know why I could do that. I just can. And so that's a bit of a battle between me and Leo at the moment. But you can imagine. But yeah, I always had that competitive spirit in me. But also, I was surrounded by really good, and at that time, male role models. My teacher, Doug Houston, my PE teacher, my head teacher, Peter Murphy of Whitfield High School, my running coach, John Olton, they were all key influences in my life. And they evoked something in me, and that they harnessed my potential, I suppose, is what I think I'm trying to say here. And that was really important because I was so loved by my mum and dad. They doted on me. They really did. But like most of my friends at the time, our dads were drinkers and heavy smokers and liked to go at the pub every night. And so that was my family setup, and it was far from perfect, but I had loads and loads of love, bucket loads.
So tell us a bit about your dad. What kind of a guy? Because I know he's a huge figure and actually a real catalyst for you doing what you do now.
Yes. So my dad, Dundee born and bred, real Dundee man, and real stubborn with grit and his own mind. But my dad was very heavy drinker, very heavy smoker, for most of his life anyway. And with me, with all this knowledge, never ever had the conversation clear of what about health, what about wellness, what about I talk a lot about vegetable oils, and it was chips every night, of course with steak or mince or something, proper man's man type food. But so there was the diet stuff, there was the alcohol, there was the smoking, and as a combination, unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was 26, and my dad took a massive heart attack. He'd been diagnosed with atherosclerosis, which is narrowing of the arteries due to lifestyle-related choices. And it devastated me for years. I mean, still now, obviously, I'm fine, but I actually think I should have had this conversation that I have every single day with my clients with my own dad. But because he was so stubborn, he wouldn't listen to anyway. But I should have tried. I should have. And I battled with that for years, Claire. And that ultimately is why I do what I do. So my mum's struggles, but losing my dad to lifestyle-related issues. My logo actually is an S and a B, and right in the middle is a love heart, and that symbolises my dad's heart because his failed. And I am committed to helping others not go down that road.
It's really interesting to hear how that terrible thing you've turned into something amazing and good, and something that is a bit of a mission for everybody else listening and looking in tonight or today. But it would be easy for you to have settled for a life more ordinary, and you didn't. So there's obviously something about you, Shelly Booth, that means, no, not just am I going to be good at sport, I'm going to excel in that, I'm competitive, but you wanted to make your mark, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And everything I've done and everything I do, Claire, I do it. I say to my clients, be excellent, like Oprah. Oprah's a good friend of mine, obviously. Be excellent. People never forget when you're excellent. And that's so true. And I think excellent it's an attitude. It's not a skill. It's how you present. It's how you show up. It's your commitment. It's your dedication. And ultimately, it's the service and significance that you could bring to people's lives. And I try very, very hard every single day.
We've already said it. You can tell from this conversation, you are very authentic. That's really important to you, that yes, you're driven, but at the same time, you're human. So I'm just wondering, do people ever see you feeling low, feeling a lack of self-esteem, or are you totally pumped when you're doing your stuff in front of people?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I show up, I get out of my bed in the morning and I move with my clients for half an hour, and I'm always in black Under Armour bottoms. That is what I wear, and it's not the same pair, by the way. I've got a multitude of them. And yeah, I put makeup on just to make myself a wee bit presentable, but I just show up as I am, and sometimes I might look half decent, other times I might not. But just actually on that point, Claire, I've just actually had my nose operated on just 4 weeks ago, and I look like I've been hit by a bus, actually, prior to even just last week there. And when I was in London recovering in my hotel, I was still running my programme, and I came on and I felt like death. Obviously, I'm now 43, and anaesthetic just knocked the shoeing out of me. So I come on, and I looked horrendous, and I was so emotional, and in fact, I was close to crying, which I'm not a public crier, and if I'm crying, I'm feeling it, you know. So no, they don't always see me, you know, all bells and whistles.
That's really honest then, to say basically you've had a cosmetic thing, so there's something about you that wants to look good, and you're also not you're not shy of saying to people, this is what I do, this is what I am. Okay, I'm a fitness person, my body is amazing, but I'm still tweaking with myself, I'm still doing things to myself.
And my dad said to me years ago, if you're not happy, change it. If you're not happy with something, change it. If you've got the means to, if you're not hurting anybody, change it. And so I have. And that's what I live by, actually. If you want something bad enough and you're prepared to work hard enough, go and get it. And if you're not happy, change it up. Make yourself happy.
So Wendy Duffy's saying it. We see all sides to Shelley, and then Lindsay saying that's why we love her. She's so real. Jill, I've taken 16 years off my health age in 18 months thanks to Shelley in this program. So let me ask you, on behalf of these women that are messaging like crazy, I can't even keep up, it's bonkers. How many subscribers do you have at the moment? Can you count them? I mean, they're on all sorts of platforms, but give us an idea.
I'll be guessing now, but I don't know. What you mean, the social media platforms?
Yeah.
Well, I think Instagram's maybe roughly 14,000, Facebook's 15, 16,000, and on our emailing list, I don't know, Megan, help me out here, 12, 13,000.
Right, so I'm pinching myself, and I'm not even you, but does that strike you as odd stroke amazing? Because I know you've worked at this business, but when you step back from it and say those words and those figures, doesn't it hit you that, is that me we're talking about, or do you think, no, a flaming well earned that?
Probably a mixture, to be honest, Claire. It's been hard graft, you know. I'm relentless in it, and I think, well, I sound like The Rock now. Nobody in the room could outwork me. I just am relentless, and I work tirelessly, and I always have done. But when your passion, when your job becomes your passion, and it is your passion, and it's heart led, it really doesn't feel like a job. Like family holidays feel like reruns every month. So when I'm on my family holidays, I'm still delivering live to my clients Monday to Friday every day. And people go, so you don't switch off then? Well, see, when you're away with your family, you need maybe an hour to yourself. So that's my switch off time.
You're joking, you're actually working, and that's your switch off.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you, do you sometimes just think, I'm fed up with this? I'm fed up with being online and being me and being positive and putting people up the arse, quite literally. Do you ever think, do you know, I would rather do something else?
Sometimes, Claire, when people join your program, because you never know who's joining the program, you see, and some people try, I don't know, some people try and maybe disprove you. They're not really in it just because they've seen the massive social proof. They get what you do, they followed you. Some people just like to be a wee bit nosy and just push, and you know, that's energy. Everything for me is energy, and I feel energy, and so that could annoy me sometimes. You know, it's one of those things that I've opened myself up to the world now, you see. So, and it really is a global audience. We cover 15 different countries and growing. So, yeah, I like warm-hearted, good people who want to change.
But you're hard taskmaster. I've heard about you. You're not going on there going, okay, guys, let's get it together. You're an absolute brute. You're a hard bitch. I'm sorry.
I don't think I am. Here's what I think I am. I think I've got that, well, it's accountability, isn't it? And everybody needs it. But we live in a world where it's okay to show up on your B game or even your C game, and it's accepted. Show into your work or go into your work, and you could just go, well, I'm here. You'll get your salary. No, where's your A game? And that's why you're here, is your A game. So let's bring it. So there's a bit of that, but there's also massive amounts of empathy and understanding, Claire. I understand and empathise like nobody. I feel it. And sometimes, a lot of the time, the messages that I get, I'm reduced to tears. I feel stuff. So the combination, the accountability and the empathy, it just creates this ball of fire. And these women get it. You can see that. They get it. And can I just say, I'm seeing all the comments coming through. These women, I have a team, and they're fantastic, by the way, but these women are my team. They're a sales force within themselves. They love it because of the benefits that they've had and they're experiencing, and their families, their wider families. And so they tell the world about me relentlessly. And they don't care if people go, shut up you and stop talking about that Shelley Booth from Dundee. They don't care. They'll keep going. And do you know what? That's amazing, you lot. I just love that.
It is amazing, and it's loyal, but it's a bit like a cult. It's like, wow, you are this demigod at the top of an organization. And is that how it feels, that you're a leader? You're an influence. You're a leader.
Yeah, and I think we need strong female role models in leadership positions. And I have to say, I've got so many single mums, I've got working mums, and I've also got the other end of the spectrum. I've got some high flyers in the corporate world, and everybody needs a leader, no matter what end of the spectrum you're at.
I find that really interesting because, you know, you're saying, you know, your demographic, you know who your customers are, but actually that's really interesting, the sort of spectrum of people you've got. Mm-hmm. So it's literally, so is there a common thread running through that you can say, okay, there's a woman in an exec position, and there's somebody that works at a supermarket or a gas station or something like that. What's the common thing that brings them into your community and keeps them there?
That brings them in initially, Claire, this is the interesting part. Initially, they come a lot of the time for weight loss. A lot of the time they come because they think it's a fitness program. And then they stay with me for months on end. And I'm talking, a lot of my clients have been with me for a year and more. And what they say is, I never realised what I was getting here. This is so much more than you put across on social media, Shelly Booth. This has changed my world. I've got a promotion. My relationship has never been better. My kids are actually eating real food. And I now know my own mind. I know who I am.
Gosh, there's a feeling that they feel taken in hand and taken care of. So you're talking about the psychological thing as well, the self-esteem boost. Let's talk about the mindset thing, because, you know, again, I think there's a strap in your website, nothing changes if nothing changes. But when you're talking to people about their mindset and how they can improve what's going on in here, how natural is that for you? Did you have to bone up in that, or is that totally just coming from all your readings from, what, 10, 20 years of stuff?
It's coming from a lot of reading, Claire. But firstly, I'd like to address the spiritual aspect of Feel Look Be. When I was 38, I heard about spirituality, and that's not religion, by the way, for anybody that maybe is thinking it is. It's knowing who you are. And I spent quite a lot of time in Thailand, and I was going back and forward. And I call it, as many people do, my spiritual home. When I go there, I just feel like a different person. But going there and doing everything that I've done spiritually has got me to a point when I can actually articulate the spiritual component probably better now than I ever can or ever have. And it's the things that you can't see. I could talk about fitness and health all day long, but the spiritual stuff, the stuff that you can't see, and the psychological stuff, that becomes a bit more harder to put across and let people understand. And at the start, people think it's really flowery and that's way above my head. And then once they start to trust me, they think, no, I'm really getting this now. And they start applying some of the principles, and they go, my life is starting to change for the better.
How long does it take for them to sort of latch onto that and get it? Does it take months, or sometimes does it happen quickly?
Claire, everybody's different. It's some people need to see the physical changes first, so the weight loss, and a lot of people lose a lot of weight on my programs if they've got it to lose. So they see the physical, they start to trust me a bit more, because I'm going against the grain in all the ways. We don't eat grain, so we're still cave women. So we eat real foods. It's clean foods, and we're not tracking calories and macros just because. In fact, we're certainly not tracking or chasing down a calorie deficit where we're eating bagels and sandwiches and crisps and whatever fits in with your calorie requirement per day. We don't do that. We just eat good food. And so once people start buying into that, they think, okay, so this is working like she said it would. So maybe we'll try this spiritual thing. And it could take maybe 3-4 months before people actually dip their toe in the water of the spiritual component of the program.
Gosh, I'm trying to keep my eye on all these comments as well. Ilsa, Cormy, I'm new. This is my first 5-day blitz and I'm loving it. 5 pounds down in 5 days. So it really is important to people that they can physically change themselves. And maybe that is the proof of concept for the whole Shelly Booth package. But sometimes you think, gosh, it'd be quite easy just to keep this going as a, well, actually, let's talk about the other arm of this business as well, which is the nutritional advice. So you've got the weight loss stuff, the fitness stuff, you've got the mindset stuff, and you've got the nutritional stuff as well. Now, presumably you've had to really learn a lot of this stuff and you know your stuff. And by God, you expect all your followers to do the homework, do the reading, watch the YouTube stuff. Why is the nutritional thing so important to you?
You are absolutely everything that you eat. And if you're prepared to eat factory-made, processed food because it fits in with your calorie requirement per day, then it's going to lead you down a path of ill health at some point. Inflammation, blood sugar issues, insulin spikes. People wonder why they go to the gym and they don't. I mean, I've been a member of a gym all of my life, even though I've had my own gym. I still have my own gym. So it's same body shapes, same faces. Nothing's really changing because of this massive void in education. And people don't really realise how many sugar cubes of a blood sugar spike, let's say, that's in a bagel or a bowl of white rice. Try 21 sugar cubes. So they think that because they're eating that and it's not a Snickers or a Mars bar, that's okay. Actually, the inflammation that comes with that, you won't feel it right now, but in time you will, and you'll feel pain. You won't really know where. So it'll be achy, you'll feel pain. You think, oh, what's going on with me? People don't realise what they're eating is causing a detriment to their health. But because they're tracking calories, don't get it, because other people out there and perhaps personal trainers aren't providing this education or information to people.
But what's your training here? Do you actually, have you got credentials here, or is this just because you have read so much about it and you know the stuff inside out and you know what works for you?
So the main qualification I have, I suppose, a sport and exercise science degree, an honours degree from Northumbria University. But my background is extensive. I've done GP referral courses. So people that have had heart attacks and strokes, we've done a GP referral system, and GPs refer clients to get rehabilitation. I've done so many health and wellness courses, I couldn't even list them clear over the years. But the main thing for me is continued research and evidence-based practical application. So you have to be ahead of the game. You have to be ahead of the curve. Nobody's going to teach you that. You go on a nutrition qualification, and actually, it's not what I'm teaching. It's not healthy whole grains. Actually, it's good fats, moderate protein, and low bad carbohydrates. High good carbohydrates, we're eating lots of vegetables and fruits. But the bad stuff and the stuff with the extensive list of ingredients, we're not eating that factory made crap.
Gosh, it's absolutely fascinating because you're myth busting as well. I mean, I've printed out something about cholesterol. People don't really understand what good and bad things are.
This is major, Claire. This cholesterol stuff. So, yeah, God, where do you want me to start?
Go on. Go on, give us a small seminar on cholesterol.
So people don't actually realise, one, what cholesterol is. It's actually a carrier of cholesterol, HDL and LDL. But metabolic syndrome is actually one of the key indicators of metabolic syndrome is low HDL, high density lipoprotein. People think that's cholesterol. So when it's low, it's considered to be bad. But when your LDL is elevated, that's based on a calculation. And it's scary. So when you go to the doctor and your total cholesterol is elevated because you're eating clean, you need to lower your fats and you need to be put on a statin. What do you mean? I've been, my ideal weight, in a DEXA scan, I've got hardly any body fat. What do you mean? So there's a huge myth regarding cholesterol, myths actually. And so getting to the bottom of that and simplifying the science for people is really crucial for me. And having that conversation with a doctor, you go to a doctor says, oh, your bloods have come back. This is the situation. We're going to need to put you on this medication. Actually having the conviction and the knowledge to say, but why? And wait a minute, what about this? And Shelley Booth says this, by the way, what do you think about that?
So I'm just looking at Lindsay here. She's saying cholesterol education we're given has completely empowered me when having discussions with my GP. Also, your meals are apparently amazing and tasty, according to Tanya Marie Roworth as well. So you're obviously, pushing all the right buttons there. But my goodness, you've got so much knowledge. But as I said earlier, you really expect all your followers to go and do the homework. How do you know if they've done the homework or not? You don't really do. You're just trusting them to basically get excited about the things that you're excited about.
Well, I'm live, and I think that helps. I'm live delivering this education to them, and so it's live and real. And sometimes the dogs jump in. Sometimes Leo comes up the attic steps and shows himself. And sometimes anything could happen. The Amazon delivery drivers at the door. People like real. So when they know that you're live, it's much more engaging. And there's lots of other programs out there, I think, and it's probably a lot of it's automation, watching videos back and stuff, which has got its place, by the way, that's fine. But it's not the way I operate. I'm live in the morning, live at night, Monday to Friday.
That's huge. That's a huge amount of your time and input as well.
Claire, do you know what? People try and compare sometimes this to a gym membership or this to a personal. You can't. It's like comparing a bus to a train. You just can't. The amount of value that women get, and it equates to about £5 a day, is absolutely huge, from nutrition to education on menopausal symptoms to estrogen. How many different estrogens are there? To adrenal fatigue, to how to reverse type 2 diabetes, just so much. And then the mindset stuff and the meditation and the workouts, it's packed, absolutely packed.
Well, obviously, this is going down an absolute bomb with people that are saying, Leslie Smith, all my menopausal symptoms disappeared within 2 weeks of being on the food plan. I'd suffered for over 10 years. Flip, I should maybe get onto your program. I'm just thinking this is making sense to me. But let's talk a little bit about being a businesswoman as well, because, you could talk about the nutrition, and I am fascinated by what you've got to say about that as well. But as a founder of a business that's worth 7 figures and growing, what is the end game? Is it to get to that stage, or is it more than that? Is it more ideological than financial? I guess I'm asking you.
So, Claire, you can see all these comments here. Imagine if every woman in the world got this amount of education and input and support and a nurturing environment like this. Everybody deserves that, right? I truly believe that. Every woman in the world deserves this. And so I'm not going to stop until I have reached as many people as possible to create service and significance, which leads to impact, sustainable lifestyle change for the whole family, not just that woman, that whole family, the kids, the husband, the partner, the wider family. And that's how the program works. That's how it's designed to work.
Can anyone run a business, make serious money like you do? Or do you just have to be totally committed, or a bit of a whiz kid who's savvy or has an expertise in some area? What do you think it is, the magic ingredient?
Claire, my dad used to say to me, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. And that's exactly how I view, business, I suppose. You look after people and you take good care of them and you give your all to them, the pennies will look after themselves. You don't even need to worry about the business model. People say to me, oh, you've got a great business model, Shelley. I didn't even know what a business model was. I'm heart-led and I'm passionate about helping people. So that 7-figure business has come just organically because, one, I'm good at what I do, and two, people are thriving. They're living their best lives.
What have you had to sacrifice to get here, to be where you are today? Because you must have.
I don't think I've sacrificed anything.
Seriously. Time with family, time to just be yourself, to be you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right, actually. So before my online stuff, practically every night I was in my gym, giving my all to clients, where my wee lad was being taken care of at home. So yeah, I've sacrificed that time. But ultimately, it's brought it around to this. And so whilst I try not to go, that's a sacrifice, it probably is, actually. So time with family, I suppose, is I think my only sacrifice.
The pluses the pluses are all there and they're all evident, and you're great about, you're very grateful. There's a gratitude thing coming into it as well, isn't there? You've got some lovely things. You've got a lovely home. You've got a lovely car. And I know that some people could say, well, that's a bit braggy then, really. But what are you trying to do by showing people these things? Because some people could take that the wrong way and say, wow, that's, conspicuous consumption. That's a display of wealth. That is not about encouraging other people.
Mm-hmm. Some people could do that and take that view, and some people will, and I will never, ever please everybody. But the only people that I want to please are people that are committed to what I do, because they know that it works and they know that I could help them. And I think that's another thing you're maybe touching on, Claire, is when you become who you spend time with, but the people that, say you've got a gallon of energy to give out in any one day, and you're giving it to people who don't actually value what you do and don't really care either, that's going to deplete your energy. And I know that it would deplete mine. And I only give my energy to people who, one, value my time, and two, actually get it. And see, for people that don't get it and think, she's got a fancy car and they've got a lot to, I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm only interested in inspiring people to say, look, I could do it. Single mum, I could do it. So could you. I wasn't tech savvy. That was another thing you said there. I wasn't tech savvy at all. I didn't know how I was going to do this. I just knew my why. And Simon Sinek would say, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And that's what's happening. This is that in action.
Wow. And you've learned as you've gone, and things have probably gone wrong. Maybe you'd like to share with us, because you are so candid. Have things gone really wobbly and you've thought, oh God, I'm off track now?
Yeah, a few times. I've been bankrupt in my life, and I had a number of tanning studios in Dundee and a surrounding area. And I moved too fast, just moved too fast and got a place that was too much. Rates were crippling the other shops and stuff. So I learned the hard way and was bankrupt, and slowly rebuilt myself and got to a point when I think, right, okay, what's my next right move, and what do I need to do? In fact, see, when you mentioned sacrifice, you've just reminded me, just 2 years ago, Claire, I thought, I'm going to need to go back the way before I can move forward. And I was sleeping on a friend's sofa, actually, to get ahead. My wee lad was fine, taken care of, totally. But for me, I thought, to get there, I need to do this. And for anybody that's been in that position, buying a house and stuff is really hard when you're self-employed. It's torture, actually. And when you're back on the bottom rung of the property ladder, it's a nightmare. So making sacrifices like that to get ahead is exactly what I've done. And I'm testament to say to people, I've done it, and so could you.
What's fascinating as well is, you're willing to make the sacrifices and to take the hit and to think strategically, even though you say you're not particularly strategic. You are, obviously. So that's the point, because we have the proof here, because your business has had to pivot when the pandemic came along, and you had the idea, the gloriously simple, it looks like, idea of taking it all online. Now that's an absolute game changer, wasn't it? Because you had the concept, but there was still something, you had to make the leap to say, how is this viable in this new world where we're not meeting up?
Totally. And in this new world, Claire, the only constant is change. We don't know what's coming next. We've actually never been through a winter after COVID. And this is why I'll talk to you in a minute. I'm actually bringing my own supplements to the market, and in particular, vitamin D3. And I tell people, vitamin D3 is really important. Wintertime, lack of sun, after COVID, really important. We've never been here before. So in terms of the pivot, I suppose, Claire, I had a business model. I then, I didn't employ people. I brought people onto my team to take care of my weaknesses. So I brought people in to do the stuff that I couldn't do. Spreadsheets and processes and systems drive me bonkers.
I love it. You're talking my language here.
And I've worked a lot with Insights in Dundee, and I'm sunshine yellow, and I'm one of these people. I'm not a bluey green type person. Is it blue? I'm not systems and processes, maths. I speak daily to a financial advisor, which is he's absolutely amazing, by the way, but I don't do numbers either. So I know how much is in the bank, and that's about it. So all of these things, in terms of the pivot, I took everything online, and I didn't know how it was going to go. I'd already had my online business, but it presented me with an opportunity, and I don't believe in luck. Again, like my pal Oprah, luck for me is readiness and opportunity coming together. And so I had a team. I got myself to a position where I was really confident online, and I was showing up regularly to all my social channels. So I was confident, and COVID hit. So that was a catalyst for bums on seats, eyes on Shelly Booth. Right, come on, let's go. And that's how the last sort of year and a half's panned out.
Is the holy grail of all that women, all these women I'm seeing, all these messages still flooding in, they love it because they love you, your authenticity, your knowledge, the way you encourage them, but also it's the convenience of doing it all from your own home and fitting it around your schedule. How important is that part of the concept?
So important, and that's one of the key areas that I identify. Women have barriers. We juggle the kids. We've got, take the kids to school, the clubs, all of the stuff that we all do and we all need to do. But then there's no time for travel to the gym. There's no time to actually go and do a class at the gym, really. And when we do, does anything really change? We get a sweat on, we leave, still got the same belly. The belly's there. We go on holiday, and I say to my clients, we've got the sarongs wrapped around us, and we're being long on the loungeries. We're being long, and then somebody asks you to go to the bar, so you have a wee look round. The sarong gets wrapped, and you be long again, and you try and stand up and be long, and nothing really changes. And that's with gym classes. So I identified that let's remove these barriers and let women get educated from home. In fact, here's my recipe book. This is what you're eating. Here's a meal plan. You don't even need to think anymore. And I'll work out with you in the morning. How's that? And we'll go through it step by step by step, like spoon feeding, I suppose, until women feel actually, I know what I'm doing now. I know what to eat now. They actually even suggest recipes to me now.
This is an amazing story of business success, but about your personal journey as well. It's about your own personal development. And I'm just wondering, where are the areas, be honest, that you think you have to work on for yourself? And that might be physical, it might be mental, or is it work-life balance? Where are your Achilles heels, as it were? Do you have any?
No, I do. Of course I do. I would like to. Well, before COVID happened, me and Leo were supposed to be in Dubai for a month, actually, business and pleasure. I want to travel the world with Leo, and that's got its own challenges because he's 10 and what have you. But my Achilles heel is I can't do that stuff right now. Neither can everybody else. This isn't a moan. This is just I feel like I'm needing to get out of blocks now. I have this massive project that I cannot say too much about, Claire, because it's huge. And as far as what you're seeing here and Feel It Be, we've only just scratched the surface. This is going to blow up to massive proportion. It's going to be huge. And it's going to be insane growth. That's what we're talking here. Insane growth. So if there's anybody that is motivated by this chat, you need to follow me and you need to stay tuned to what's coming, okay? But
What a cliffhanger! What a cliffhanger to leave things on. It's going to be insane. You're not stopping now. There's more to be continued. That's what you're saying.
Definitely, of course. This is just Feel Look Bees, like the beta test. We've got massive social proof, but there's millions of people in the world, and they need my help. I truly believe they do.
Okay.
So anyway, no, sorry, I never answered your question right, Claire. Weaknesses. The work-life balance is a thing, and this device here, digital distraction and digital zombies, scrolling, and because my business is online, this is a bit of a weakness, and it's a weakness I'm aware of though. So striking that balance of, we're not having phones this weekend, we're going to wait to have some family time, and there is no phones. And I'm very, very mindful of that for my son and my whole family, actually. So that's quite tricky when you've got an online business, you could imagine.
Well, Claire Ross just finally here. Shelley helped me to become me again after many years of losing who I was. I will forever be grateful. Such a wonderful community in Feel Look Be. Shelley's a fantastic mentor and inspiration to me. I'm going to leave the final comment to you, Shelley. Have you got a message for everyone that's scrolling? I'm scrolling down here, but everyone that's watching us right now, give us a sentence just to make us, send us away feeling motivated and we can do it.
Oh, yes. Claire, thank you so much for that comment. And everybody, thank you for your supportive comments. You're amazing, every single one of you. So I think I'd probably like to share some advice, if anything. And the first thing would be, know who you are. That's the first thing. Know who you actually are. A lot of people don't. A lot of women don't. That will lead you ultimately to your why you're doing what you're doing, what sets your soul on fire, and are you doing that? And if you're not, you need to set upon the business of getting that done. If we've only got 30 odd years left or 40 years left, I've lived 43. If I've only got 40 years left, I better get on with the business of doing that. Be passion-led and heart-led, provide service and significance, demonstrate impact, and then make a difference. We're here to make a difference. That's why we're on this planet, to make a difference, to leave it in a better way than we came into it.
To be continued. Watch this space. Shelly Booth, thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy talking to you. Brilliant fun.
Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's just lovely. Look at the love out there. Oh my goodness. Well, just to say that, you know, Shelley's applied her experience on the Accelerator program. She's now a 7-figure business in 2 years. Amazing. It's important to bear in mind that if you are on the Elevator Accelerator program, you can rely on support to continue. You just don't get dumped like a puppy because it's Christmas. It's a continuing relationship if you do get involved. But it just remains for me to say a big thanks to you all and to the wonderful Shelley for being with us on Let's Talk. We hope it's given you lots of inspiration and some confidence that you can follow in Shelley's footsteps. She's been massively honest and candid. You just need the right support. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you, everyone. Stay well.